When we talk about globalization, we rarely talk about its human cost. 12 Indians, one blast in Qatar, and a global safety question we can't ignore. Hello everyone, my name is Rajni Jha. Welcome to Drishti IAS. There was a blast at Qatar's main LNG facility. Let's see what the news says. A blast occurred at a major gas processing facility in Qatar's Ras Laffan industrial city during operational activities. There were 13 deaths, including 12 Indians, dozens injured, and the incident occurred during restart operations. Qatar has indicated that it was not sabotage, nobody did it intentionally, it was a technical or industrial accident, but the investigations are going on. Now, what are the concerns that we have with this incident? The first is Indian diaspora vulnerability. There are a lot of Indians that are working abroad. Indians from large migrant workforce are in Gulf countries, especially in construction and energy sectors. This incident alone highlights how unsafe the environment can be. Due to occupational safety risks, there is dependence on foreign labor laws. We depend on foreign labor laws for the protection and rights of our migrant workers, our labor force working there. There is need for stronger bilateral labor protection frameworks to ensure their safety, protection, and rights. Another concern is industrial safety concern. This incident happened during restart operation after a shutdown. So it shows that it is risky. Similarly, there are risks in complex hydrocarbon processing systems. So all this raises the need for stronger and stricter process safety management to ensure safety of workers working there. It also raises need for international safety audits or inspections regularly, especially in high risk areas, and emergency response protocol, so that if at all any mishap happens, there should be people who respond quickly to ensure that people's lives could be saved and the damage could be reduced at least. The next concern is India-West Asia relations. Now, this incident has reinforced the importance of diplomatic outreach. What does that mean? India should be involved in diplomatic steps from us for our protection, for our worker protection, for the protection of workers working abroad. Similarly, there is a need for strengthening India-Qatar strategic partnership because we depend on them for, in some way, for employment generation and energy security, and better labor welfare agreements when we are getting into an agreement with them, with other countries in our migration diplomacy as well. So there has to be better and stricter labor welfare agreements so that their safety and rights could be ensured. Now, there is an analytical angle here. This incident alone reflects a triangular dependency model. What is that? Gulf countries depend on us and developing countries for migrant laborers. They rely on migrant laborers. India relies on Gulf jobs and remittances. People working there would send money back to home to their families, that is remittance. So India relies on Gulf jobs and remittances, and the global economy in general relies on Gulf energy supply. So if any disruption happens on any of the level, that will create multi-layered ripple effects. And finally, what should be the way forward? For India, there should be stronger overseas worker welfare system. We should also expand pre-departure safety training. So before our workers are going outside for work, they should be given some sort of training for their safety if any mishap happens where they're working. Similarly, there has to be stronger labor safety clauses in our agreements. When we come into agreement with another country, we must focus on clauses that ensure labor safety. And finally, if any problem happens, there has to be embassy level crisis response for it. For global industry, there should be compulsory or mandatory safety audits or safety inspections in high-risk plants or high-risk jobs at least. There should be standardized industrial safety protocols, again, for the safety of workers or people working there, and transparent accident reporting mechanisms so that if any mishap happens, anytime, we could learn from it, and we could learn in such a way that it does not repeat itself in future. Okay, before we move ahead with our question, MCQ question and the answer writing question, there's an announcement for you. We have ISGS Foundation course. There are live online classes from Karol Bagh and Noida Center, both in English and Hindi medium. There are 400 plus structured classes. You will get printed notes, subject-wise printed notes. There will be mains capsule series book and prelims practice series book as well. And the answers will be evaluated also. So this is a comprehensive program that you will be given for your prelims and mains preparation. If you wish to join us, please call on this number and connect with us. So now that we are toward the end of the session, there is a practice question for you for prelims examination. Now this question is a homework, and I will just enunciate what exactly it says, but this is your homework. I expect you guys to answer in the comment section. After this, we will also see a mains practice question, and I'll tell you how to approach that. All right, so the question says, which of the following best explains the significance of Gulf countries for India? First, energy imports. Second, remittances. Or third, strategic military alliances. This is the first statement, second and third. You have to find out which is correct. Option A, 1 and 2 only. Option B, 2 and 3 only. Option C, 1 and 3 only. Or option D, 1, 2 and 3. All right. So the last session, the last part of our session is main style practice question. Let's have a look at the question first. It says, industrial accidents in global energy infrastructure highlight the vulnerabilities of migrant labor and interconnectedness of energy security. In this context, discuss the implications of the recent gas plant blast in Qatar for India. Suggest suitable measures. If you really look at this question, this looks like a very big question, but actually it is very easy and simple. The directive we have here is discuss, but we don't need to discuss what is happening in the first line. We need to discuss the implications, and then we need to give the measure. So this is the main question stem that you have to focus on. But because it is prefaced with this part, this should come in your introduction. Now, as I've told you earlier as well, every question has to be attempted, and there has to be 3 dimensions of it. There will be introduction, body, and conclusion. In the introduction, we'll start from here. So if you really read the first line, it talks about general idea that industrial accidents in global energy infrastructure highlight vulnerabilities of migrant labor. They're not saying we're talking about only India. They're just saying in general, there are vulnerabilities for migrant labor. But at the end, they have also given a point where they have made it case specific, the blast in Qatar. So my introduction first should introduce this idea, the blast. It should start with this news, the blast in Qatar, and then I should continue by giving a general dimension. Right? I'll also show you the model answer, or at least I'll give you the pointers. So it has to start with this example blast, because in the question specifically it asks about it, and then the general idea that the accidents happening in global energy infrastructure, they make migrant labor unsafe. They show the vulnerabilities that the laborers have. Now in the body, there has to be 2 parts. The first one has to be implications, because it specifically asks you to talk about the implications. What are the implications of this? And the second part has to be measure, because again, they have asked you at the end to give suitable measure. And then towards the end, in the conclusion, you have to give a well-rounded conclusion where you can show that collaborative combined effort is required. Let me show you a model framework. So in the introduction, first mention the incident, right? And then go towards the general idea, because the question also talks about general idea that this incident highlights there is a twin problem. What are the twin problems? Industrial safety and migrant worker vulnerability. These are the major 2 problems which are happening because of such incidents on global level. In the body, first you will talk about implications. So these are the implications we have already discussed in today's session. The implications, diaspora vulnerability, we just saw. There is energy security linkages that we depend on them for energy security and employment. Industrial safety concerns are also there, and then at the end you will talk about these bilateral relations. And the measures, what can be done to protect? The measures would be labor protection diplomacy, skill and safety training, stronger consular mechanisms, bilateral agreement, global safety standards, advocacy. We have discussed all this in today's session. I'm just telling you how to arrange them in an answer. And finally, in conclusion, you'll give a well-rounded answer, well-rounded conclusion where you can say that thus the incident calls for a balanced approach where you have to combine diplomacy, labor welfare, and energy security resilience. I hope you'll be able to write the answer yourself now. I know I have given you framework. I would still expect you to write the answer at home. If you do this with every session, because I bring a question every session, if you do this with me every session, your answer writing will improve tremendously. I promise you that. So that's it for today's session. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next class.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.